aging. But there are many things we can do, hopefully, to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. So send me the email right now through drjoe.com. What else you got?
I enjoy dairy. Should I substitute regular milk with soy milk, almond milk, or coconut milk?
Coconut milk would be your best choice, but any of them are okay. And I used to enjoy dairy too, I think. I don't remember. The thing I miss most, actually, is provolone cheese, being Italian. And there are vegan cheeses out there, and I'm not going to lie, to you, they don't taste as good. I mean, I'm going to be honest. But it's not worth it to me. Knowing what these things do to my body, it's not worth it. And this is an evolution. I've changed a lot over 40 years of doing this. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. So, yeah, any of them are good, but organic coconut milk would be best choice. What else?
I have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes. Which fruits and vegetables should I focus on?
Actually, most of them are fine for pre-diabetics. It's the fruit juices you have to worry. Now, the nice part is that there's tons of research out there on reversing, yes, you heard that word, reversing pre-diabetes and diabetes in many cases. So go to my website, drjoe.com, and type diabetes in the search bar and listen to the show we did on diabetes. It's going to give you a lot of insight as to what to do. Now, in the very near future, John and I, my producer, are putting together training courses for heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and smoking. And we're going to have these classes available. It's going to be an interactive class with supplement recommendations, and they're going to be available very shortly, probably in the next couple of months. So listen to the show. I've just took the show and kind of sexied it up a little bit. What else you got, John?
Are potatoes okay for diabetics?
Potatoes are okay, but what I want you to do is this. I want you to, organic only, cook the potato, refrigerate it overnight, and then you can eat it the next day or day after. You can heat it or cool it, either way. That's called a resistant starch. And what's going to happen is about 40% of the carbohydrates are not going to be absorbable by you. So you're going to absorb a lot less carbohydrates by doing that. And you want to limit it. Sweet potato is going to be a much better choice than regular potatoes. Sweet potatoes really aren't potatoes, by the way. But the darker the potato, the more nutrient it has. So white potatoes, so-so. Gold potatoes, a little better. Purple potatoes, most nutritious. But please, if you're going to be, anybody should do this, even if you're not a diabetic, cook it, refrigerate it, eat it the next day. Don't eat a lot of it, but that's the way to do it. Good.
Which beans are the healthiest, or should I eat all of them?
All of them. Absolutely. I just made a bean soup. I went to Sprouts, and in their bulk section, they had like 12 bean soup or something like that. Lentils and split peas and black beans. And so I took that, and I put it in my, was it One Pot, I think it's called? It's a pressure cooker. And I just added carrots, celery, onions. I added some vegetable bouillon, water, put the top on. Within an hour, I had soup. So the more variety you eat, the better you're going to be. But the black beans, the darker the color, usually more nutrients it is, but you really want to have a variety of them. So shake it up. I made split pea soup yesterday, as a matter of fact. So I just in the mood for split pea soup. I'm half German. We used to have it every winter. So what else you got?
How often should I substitute rice for quinoa?
Well, quinoa for rice. Yeah, quinoa all the time if you can. Quinoa is a much better choice. If you're going to eat rice or quinoa, make sure you cook it, refrigerate it, eat it the next day. Remember, resistant starches. And if you're going to eat rice, I recommend organic rice from California. White rice. Isn't that strange, me saying white rice, not brown rice? The white rice has lower levels of arsenic. The brown rice has higher levels. So organic rice from California is going to be your best choice. And you could, by the way, you don't have to substitute. You can mix them together. Ooh, there's a novel idea. Get crazy with it. Quinoa is better than rice, though. Good.
Is Thai food healthy?
Thai food you got to be careful with because most times they're going to use fish sauce. So whenever I eat Thai food, I always say no fish sauce. And sometimes a restaurant, if it's a good restaurant, will mix the curries up individually. A lot of the Thai restaurants, the curries already have the fish sauce in it. Do not eat fish sauce. It's monosodium glutamate. That glutamic acid fries your brain cells. So Thai food is okay. Just make sure it doesn't have fish sauce. And, of course, plant-based. I wouldn't do any of the animal products. But, yeah, plant-based Thai. My favorite Thai restaurant, if you're in the Atlanta area, is a place called Thai House. It's in Roswell. And it's by far the best Thai food I've ever had. And I've been all around the world, and I remember being in Hawaii and going, I'm going to try Thai food. I'm closer to Thailand, you know. Now, I've never been to Thailand, so I can't vouch for their food, but Thai House in Roswell, the best. They have a whole vegetarian menu, plant-based menu. Cameron is the owner. Tell him I sent you. It's kind of funny, a little funny story. I was in there years ago, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, and I walk in, I'm just having dinner, and Cameron, the owner, and the other people, like pointing and whispering. And he comes over to me and goes, "You're Dr. Joe." I said, "Yeah." And he just lost his mind. "I am such a fan of yours. Can I have a picture of you?" Of course. So the gal was dating at the time, and me and Cameron get a picture together. And there's one other picture on his wall, Steven Tyler, the singer, Steven Tyler, and then me. And it's so kind of cool. Every time I go in there, I go, "And it's me." So every time I go in, everybody recognizes me. It's kind of neat. But aside from that, it is the best Thai food. Now, there's a place in Marietta called Lemongrass, which is also extremely good. You can tell them I sent you as well. Those are the two best Thai restaurants I found in the Atlanta area. So, all right, John, what else you got?
That is all?
That's a lot. See, ask me questions. I'll give you more than you want to know. All right, let me wet my whistle. Echinacea and slippery elm. It's great. Little stevia. It's actually like a treat. Where were we? Okay, I'm ready. Hey, folks, thanks for being here. If you just joined me, welcome. If you stayed with me, I appreciate that, of course. I love when you guys spend time with me. As always, we try to give you tons of information that you can utilize to get well and stay well. You may not use it all at once. That's okay. Take a little tidbit, a little pearl of wisdom, incorporate it into your life. Change again, incorporate a little bit more. That's why we do podcasts. That's why we do radio shows. Our website has over 4,000 hours of content on it. So go to the website. It's free. And search anything you like. High blood pressure, diabetes, weight loss, do's and don'ts of a good diet, whatever it is. Chances are we've done several shows and podcasts and blogs on it. And you can listen and read and whatever you want to do with it is up to you. The podcast, of course, is Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Dr. Joe for the Health of It. We do at least 2 podcasts a week. So if you like your podcast, you can go into the archives and listen to all our podcasts. And you can send me questions through the website as well, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you. drjoe.com. We usually get 10 to 20 questions a day on the website. Most of them I answer personally. So please send us questions. I'm happy to answer them for you. And if you follow us on social media, we post every day. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Every single day, you're going to get a 1-minute post from us. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, don't follow us. It's very simple. It's Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito because we had an issue. We got to get our name back, and it was a big mess. But the Dr. Joe Esposito. And you're going to get so much information. Again, if you don't like it, don't follow it. It's very fine. There's so many hundreds of thousands. Sometimes we go viral many times. We have many of our posts go to 1 million views. And so millions of people around the world love this stuff. If it's not for you, that's okay. That's fine. I just give you the information. What you do with it is totally up to you. So we're talking today about what really is a good diet, whether it's high carb, low carb, carnivore, plant-based, vegan, Mind, DASH, Mediterranean. There are certain things that across the board make the diet the best. Now, the ones that have been approved across the board nationally, internationally, are the Mind diet, the Mediterranean diet, and the DASH diet. Now, the Mind diet is specifically for brain function. DASH diet is dietary approaches to stop hypertension. And the Mediterranean diet is kind of like the granddaddy of them all. And the granddaddy of them all, the Mediterranean diet, the one that's been shown to increase life expectancy the most, decrease disease the most, is mostly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, plants, a little bit of meat, a little bit of dairy products, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of alcohol. But when I say a little, 5 to 10% of your diet is that. 80, 90% is the fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. So even if you're not willing to go all the way, like the Raspberry song, go all the way. If you're old enough, you got that reference. Eric Carmen, who, by the way, I think died recently, but here nor there. The Mediterranean diet, it's the gold standard. Nobody argues with it. Well, the carnivore diet, you got to eat carnivore. No, even people like Dr. Joe Mercola, who's brilliant in nutritional research, and I don't agree with everything he says. But he said, too, for the longest time, he was promoting the high-protein diet, all carb, all meat diets. And then he looked at the long-term research and said, I was wrong. That's the one thing nice about science. You can say I was wrong because it does change. And initially, short-term might do okay. But long-term, if you're eating these high-protein diets, it's going to have adverse effects on your brain, your kidneys, your liver. Wouldn't recommend them. So why not just go to the one that's going to work the best from the start, which is mostly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. You do want to get about 15 to 30% of your diet from fats, but they've got to be good fats. Nuts, seeds, avocados, going to be the best fat. The polyunsaturated fats. And here's what happened. Saturated fats animal products, coconut oils, they got a bad name. They got a bad rap. So we found out that monounsaturated fats, like extra virgin organic olive oil, were good. Well, some genius came up with the idea, well, if monounsaturated fats are good, I guess polyunsaturated fats are better. It's not true. The polyunsaturated fats are causing so many diseases. Polyunsaturated fats, seed oils, canola, corn, soy, these are actually worse for diabetics than sugar. That's a bold statement right there. Sugar, the gold standard of things that cause diabetes, and this is worse? And where do we find these processed polyunsaturated fats? Everywhere. So please, I'm begging you, cut out the polyunsaturated fats, the seed oils, the vegetable oils. The only oil I want you having in your life, extra virgin organic coconut oil, extra virgin organic olive oil. That's it. Now, the extra virgin organic olive oil, be careful. Because I've read studies 70 to 80% of the olive oil, even if it's considered organic, extra virgin, it's not pure olive oil. They cut it with things like soybean oil because it's expensive. So the one oil I found that meets all my standards, it comes from one source. It smells great. It smells like olive oil. I'm Italian. I know what good olive oil smells like. And when you put it in the refrigerator, it should get cloudy. The only source, the best price I found was Sprouts brand. Now, I have no affiliation with the store whatsoever. But Sprouts, I get it in a metal container or glass. Don't put it in plastic. And that's the one I find meets all my criteria. And it's the least expensive, which is kind of nice. But I've tried other ones. I've tried other big grocery store chains. I've tried big box store chains. And they don't get cloudy when you put it in the refrigerator. They don't smell good. They don't taste good. And they're usually from multiple sources. Chile, Mexico, Canada, wherever, I don't know, California, Italy, Greece, Spain. The more hands in the pot, the more likely it is, more opportunity it is to cut it and make it junk. So please, those are the only two oils. Now, you can have avocado oil if you want to, too. Not a lot of people use avocado oil. But those are the best oils to have. And they're still processed. Remember that. They're still processed because it's not an olive, it's an olive oil. So what do you have to process it out of the olive? So minimally processed. And cooking, coconut oil, absolutely. Salads, olive oil. That's it. There's your choices. It's very simple. If you're going to cook with olive oil, and I wish you wouldn't, very low temperature. If the olive oil starts to smoke, it's already gone toxic. It's bad for you. So just be careful with that. So fats are okay, necessary for hormone productions, antioxidants. Fats are good. Just please make sure you're eating the right kinds of fats. And even if you're eating meat, and I'm not saying eat it raw, but when you cook the meat, you change the molecular structure. And that's not a good idea. Nutrients start to break down around 110 degrees. Now, some things are better cooked. Some nutrients are better cooked, like broccoli, for example. Broccoli's man-made, by the way, too. It doesn't grow wild, but here or there. So broccoli, the cells are made of something called cellulose. And cellulose is the cell wall, and the nutrients are inside the cell. And in order to get the nutrients out of the cellulose, you have to do one of two things. Cook it, so the heat expands it and bursts open the cell wall, or like water expands, or chew it, or juice it, or grind it up. So those are the only two ways you can get the nutrients out of cellulose, because we don't have an enzyme in our digestive system called cellulase, which breaks down the cellulose. Animals do. Some animals do. We don't. So I do recommend this, that you eat something raw at every meal. Raw foods have the nutrients, the enzymes still intact. So you don't have to eat all raw, but try to eat something raw at every meal. Have a salad every day. Have an apple, peaches, pears. This morning I had pineapple and watermelon, along with my super greens and essential source, my vitamin D, my B complex, my omega-3 fatty acids, my men's hormone support, my nitric oxide to open up my blood vessels and keep circulation going through my body. So again, my stack of supplements might cost $10, $11 a day. Still cheaper than a fancy coffee. And if you're taking them all, chances are you're not going to need the coffee anyway. So it's not very expensive. And you don't have to do all, I do a large amount of supplements. You can do a lot less than that. So don't give me the excuse it's too expensive, because it certainly isn't. Because I know that you're spending money on something not good for you that costs a lot more money. So supplements are there. They're all on the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. They're in the store section. Minimum supplements, please. Super Greens and Essential Source, vitamin D and B complex. Minimum, minimum, minimum. From there, I would add more if you can, but I wouldn't do any less than that, of course. So we're talking today about what makes a diet healthy. What are the components of a healthy diet, regardless of what your philosophy is? Proteins. Proteins provide the building blocks for all the cells. About 10% of your total caloric intake is protein. If you're eating a steak, you're looking at about 17, 18% protein. That's way too much. So what happens if we eat too much protein? Well, that protein has to be filtered out. It becomes ammonia, uric acids. It has to come through the kidneys, and it can irritate the kidneys and cause kidney damage. It's funny. We talk about, when I was doing the research, it says, for older adults, with the exception of those with kidney disease, should consume one gram of protein for every kilogram of weight that they have. Again, there's a little math there. With the exception of people with kidney disease. So too much protein, bad for your kidneys. Kidney disease, you really got to cut back on your protein. So plant-based protein is probably the most beneficial for cardiovascular disease, metabolic health, overall health. You don't need more protein, you need quality protein. Just that simple. And I suggest plant-based proteins. Now, there are plant-based protein powders. I don't recommend you do them. But if you do them, I don't recommend you do autolyzed or textured soy proteins. You'll see that a lot because it's cheap. Pea protein, probably going to be your best bet, or hemp seed protein. Those are okay, but not textured, not isolated. Just pea protein, organic hemp protein. If you're going to do a protein shake, because I've tried for years telling people you don't need it, but I've lost that battle. So if you're going to do it, at least make sure it's an organic, easy to process protein, and make sure it's not that isolated soy protein. Not good for your textured soy protein. Not a good idea. That's why these fake meats that are out, these hamburgers and stuff, they're really not that healthy for you. Beyond Burger is the pea protein. If you're going to eat one, I'd recommend that one because it's a little less it has high sodium, but it's not a textured soy protein, which is what the other ones are. You can make them out of vegetables. Surprisingly, the best veggie burger I ever had in my life was at a steakhouse. It's called Houston's in Atlanta. And they have the best veggie burger I've ever had. And now it's grilled on a grill with meat, so I wouldn't recommend, if you're pure, and that bothers you. Now, I'm not saying it's a healthy choice, because they do have some sauce on it. It's probably loaded with sugar. But it's the best tasting one. Still a heck of a lot better than a piece of steak. So it's all about making better choices. What's going to be a better choice for me at this moment in time? And I want you to consider that every meal. Now, in the morning, I take Super Greens, an essential source, B-complex, vitamin D, my nitric oxide, my men's hormone support, my omega-3 fatty acids. I take turmeric as an anti-inflammatory. And I take my supplements, and I take my powders, and I shake it up in a glass jar, and I drink it down every morning. And then I say, okay, what's going to be my best choice? Because that doesn't really – I like to have a little bit more than that. So today I had some watermelon and some pineapple, and it was good. And for lunch I had a salad. I had a big it had cabbage and Brussels sprouts in it. It was pre-made. And I made my own dressing because the dressing that came with it was a bunch of omega-6 fatty acids, soybean oil. And I had that for lunch, and I put some quinoa in there. Great. Amazing. So it's not hard to do this, and you can mix foods together. And you can get some good foods in your diet, and you're going to save so much money. Now, a lot of you are thinking, I don't know what to eat. Go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in, so what can I eat? And listen to a lecture that I gave on that. It's very simple. It's not hard. It's easy. It's quick. It's inexpensive. You'll save money. Your kitchen will be a lot cleaner. Your refrigerator will be a lot cleaner. You won't have grease all over your stove. The dishes are easier to wash. You're probably going to lose weight. You're probably going to have energy. But the bad food does taste good. I got to say that. Now, the good food tastes good too. But the ultra-processed foods, they add things like monosodium glutamate, which are flavor enhancers. They stimulate the umami taste buds in your tongue to give it more flavor. And that's why the ultra-processed foods work so well. The magic combination. What's the best combination to make you want to eat a food? Carbohydrates, fats, and salt. What is carbohydrates, fats, and salt? What food can you think of? How about chips? Chips are amazing. They taste so good. But they're so bad. They have acrylamides in them. Acrylamides are carcinogenic. The corn chips are made with genetically modified corn. Omega-6 fatty acids, soybean oils. When they're heated, they change their molecular structure and create more carcinogenics. Chips taste good. I know that. but I don't eat them because I understand what they do to me. So it's not worth it. And again, if you're going to eat 80% really, really, really good, I'll give you 10% to play with. How's that for a deal? 20%. I'd rather you do 90-10 if you can. But I'll give you 10 to 20% of your diet to play with and give me the other ones as a really good diet. Take your supplements. Take your super greens and essential source, your omega-3s, your B complexes, nitric oxide to open up your blood vessels. Don't take it if you have low blood pressure. I take men's hormone supports. I'm getting older. My hormone levels are dropping. I take adrenal supports. My adrenal glands produce energy, hormone levels, and fight inflammation. So I take adrenal support every day. So if you have questions about the supplements or anything, send it to me through my website, drjoe.com, and I'm happy to give you my opinion on what I think will be the best for your specific concerns. A lot of the advice is the same. Like I said, what's the best diet? Mediterranean. What's better? What's along there? Mind and Dash diet. Mind and Dash are versions of the Mediterranean diet. So there is a certain level of truth. And so some of the advice I might give for heart disease might be the same for cancer, might be the same for blood pressure. Not saying I have a cure for these diseases, but this is the protocol I would follow. And that makes my job easier. The more I learn, the easier this gets because it keeps going back to the same truths. Normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, good nutrition. That's the truth. It's never changed in 40 years. Now, if you have pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, chances are you have a pinched nerve. You certainly have an irritated nerve. Number one treatment for back pain, most effective, least expensive, chiropractic care. So if you have pain, come see us. I don't know if we can help you or not. I have no idea. But let's find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon, physical therapy, psychiatry? I don't know. Exercise, yoga? I don't know. Let's find out what's going to be best for you. So go to my website to make an appointment, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. If we don't have an office in your area, send me an email. I'll try to find you a doctor in your area, hopefully. And I don't know everybody, but maybe I could find you a doctor who meets my standards. And that's tough. I'm not going to lie to you because I'm a patient here too. I'm a patient at my office too. And I want to make sure I'm getting the treatment that I deserve, the best treatment I can get. So drjoe.com, book your appointment. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. We do all of that for $299. It ain't a profit center, let me tell you. We do that so we can determine what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Maybe it's chiropractic, maybe it's PRP, maybe it's acoustic wave therapy, maybe it's cold laser. There are so many alternative treatments for joint pain, for arthritic pain, for joints that we're told you're probably going to need a joint replacement. There are so many alternative treatments you don't even know exist. Most doctors don't know exist. And if these alternative treatments have a chance of fixing things, let's try it. Very low risk, very high reward. Why wouldn't we do it? So drjoe.com, book your appointments right now. If you're ever in a car accident, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. Now, you will get calls from runners, ambulance chasers, scammers. Go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. You're part of a survey. You're part of a national information group. All scams. No one can legally call you up and tell you to go see a doctor or a lawyer. It's a felony. Because the only way they'd have that information you were in an accident is if they got your information illegally. Whether it's from a police station, an ambulance driver, hospital, tow truck driver, they pay these people illegally to give your information out. It's a scam. It's a felony. Don't fall for it. And you're not going to get the treatment you need, whether it's a lawyer or a doctor. You're not going to get the treatment or representation you need. If you're in an accident, come see us. If we don't have an office near you, I have other doctors I work with that I trust, and I will refer you to them. drjoe.com, great source of information. Send me your questions as well, and I'm happy to answer them. Follow me on social media, Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, The Dr. Joe Esposito, YouTube. We have the long versions of our lectures. The other ones are little 1-minute versions. We post every single day with health information. So drjoe.com. Again, I want to be your doctor. I really do. We can even do remote consultations if we need to. So send me your questions, make an appointment, follow me on social media, podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. We post twice a week on that, sometimes more. But supplements, chiropractic care, natural health, I don't think those are luxuries. I believe they're necessities. You want to have a normally functioning nervous system. You want to have a normally functioning digestive system. You want to have a good diet. And in our offices, we offer all that as a protocol. And supplements, please, if nothing else, please, Super Green Essential Source Vitamin D and B Complex. At least do that. You can get on subscription. It's cheaper if you do it. We send it to you every month. This way you don't mess up and say, oh, I forgot. These are ongoing things. You have to take care of your health always. How often do you brush your teeth? Always. Why? Because you want to maintain your teeth. Now, you don't have to get chiropractic care every day, that's for sure, but you definitely want to make sure everything's lined up from head to toe. Foot pain, fibromyalgia, acid reflux, heartburn. If you have heartburn, the stomach is probably pushed up into the diaphragm, and in most cases, we can physically pull the stomach back down away from the diaphragm. It's called an adjustment of the stomach. It's the number 2 reason we see patients. Number 1 is pain. Number 2 is digestive issues. So come see us. I'm amazed how many patients come to see us with digestive issues, and I had one this week, a couple this week, and I did the consultation on them, and they said, I had no idea until you talked to me that these were issues. One guy, 81 years old, said, I thought I was just getting old. I said, we are getting old, but don't you want to fix these things? I said, I didn't know you could. I was always told I'm just getting old. I don't know how much we can get, results we can get, but isn't it worth trying? I mean, we only get one shot at this life. I want to live it the best I possibly can. So we talked about the ultra-processed foods. A good diet does not include ultra-processed foods. And if you're going to do meats, I do recommend organic only. We talked about that as well. But the ultra-processed food, what's an ultra-processed food? Read the ingredients. There is no definite definition of it, but can you make this in your kitchen? Are there ingredients in there you don't have in your kitchen? Are there ingredients you can't pronounce? Are there ingredients that have a long shelf life? I would say longer the shelf life, the shorter your life. So that's a good rule to follow. But do you have these ingredients? Things like chicken nuggets, frozen meals, hot dogs, packaged soup, soft drinks, cereals, chips, crackers, cookies. These are what we consider ultra-processed foods. And the only thing that works for me, and I'll just talk very candidly right now, the only thing that works for me is I can't have the bad food in the house. Because if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. Now, I don't eat animal products. Okay, I've been vegan now for almost 40 years. I'm not asking you to do that. Don't get nervous. But if I have vegan cookies in the house, I want to eat them. If I have vegan crackers in the house, I don't do chips, but crackers, I want to eat them. I don't do vegan ice cream, but if vegan ice cream was in the house, I'd probably want to eat that too. So the best advice I can give you when it comes to making these dietary changes, get it out of the house. Well, my husband, my wife, my kids, fill in the blank, blah, blah, blah. I get it. If they want it, they got to go out and get it. Not allowed in your house. It's just that simple. And you'll be amazed how good you feel. And also, it's not just what you eat, it's when you don't eat. I want you to consider intermittent fasting. I love intermittent fasting. And now it's tough. The first couple of times you do it, I'm hungry. I want to eat. What I do a show on Sunday nights, and I'll stop eating about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I'll be hungry around 6 or 7. I'll go do my show, come home, and go to bed. So I'll fast easily 16 hours, 17 hours on a day like that. And then I do a show on Wednesday nights as well. And I'll have lunch, do the show, and then I'll come home. And I usually won't go home right away. I'll stay out until it's time to go to bed, and then I'll go home. And so 2 nights a week, at least, I'm fasting 16, 18 hours. You'll feel so good when you do this. You'll be hungry. It's okay to be hungry. It's okay to have a little hunger pang. Because once you do it a few times, you're going to go, I know how good I'm going to feel. It's certainly worth it. It's not like you're severe pain, you're having a migraine headache, you can't walk. You get a little hunger pang. Drink some water. But get out and do things, keep the body in motion. You'll be amazed. Yoga is great to keep the body healthy. You can do yoga online. You can type up beginner yoga and do a yoga class for 20 minutes. I do this several times a week. And I'll just pick a beginner's yoga class. I don't do advanced yoga. I just do basic yoga. And it's incredible how much better you feel after 20 minutes. You're thinking, that's all I did was bend over and twist, and I feel this great? Yeah, it really does work. Folks, I just realized I'm almost out of time. I got so much more to cover. I just don't have time to cover it. So if you have any questions, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media. Please do this as a favor to me because the bigger following we have, the more following we have. So drjoe.com is the website for questions, and you can search the website, order supplements, make an appointment. Dr. Joe for the Health of It is the podcast. Do that. We post at least twice a week. We've got big archives there. And then social media, it's Dr. Joe, Facebook, Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, the Dr. Joe Esposito, and you're going to get so much information. Folks, I want to be your doctor. I want to help get you well and keep you well. Again, any questions, where do you go? Or book an appointment, drjoe.com. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends. We'll catch you next time. All right. Wow. Not even halfway through that time. So, you have questions for me, John? Just John.
Instead of butter, can I use olive oil on my bread and toast it for a few minutes?
Yes. Make sure it's sprouted bread, though. That's the best kind. Just don't heat it too much. Again, if the oil smokes, it's gone bad. Get on there. What else?
I avoid French fries because they're so unhealthy. When I do cheat, should I opt for chips or onion rings?
Gee, that's a Sophie's choice. They're all bad. I can't give you an option for that one. If you're going to make French fries, maybe using coconut oil and cook them yourself in a convection oven, maybe that would be your best choice. But yeah, onion rings are, again, same thing. Once it gets crispy, it's going to get acrylamides on it. So, and I'm sure the onion rings are not cooked in coconut oil. So I don't have an answer for that one.
Are cherries okay, or is it too much sugar?
No, cherries are great. Cherries are awesome because they have the fiber and the phytonutrients and the skin and everything else. So yeah, cherries are fine. I love cherries. Last thing my father ate before he died. So every time I eat cherries, I think of my dad. What else?
Are there any non-stick, toxic-free pans that you like?
Yes. Cast iron, made in the United States, works really well. You have to season it. It's called seasoning it. You put some coconut oil in there, put it in an oven at a low temperature, like 250 degrees for about 45 minutes. You don't want to wash it. You can get a metal pad, like not a Brillo pad because that is with no soap in it, and just wipe it out, and then wipe it out with a towel, and that works really well. Ceramic, you can use ceramic as a nonstick. It's got to be made in the United States again. Glass would probably work. The big thing with nonstick is you have to heat it up first before you put something in there. If it's hot, it's less likely to stick. But natural or ceramic would probably be okay, and then cast iron made in the United States. And the reason is ones made in other countries may have toxic chemicals in them. What else?
Are there circumstances where you would want to see an MRI before doing a neck adjustment?
Yes. There are certain circumstances, and it's rare, but if it comes in, and if you have an MRI, bring it with you. Absolutely. Now, we don't do a lot of racking and cracking. Some of the chiropractors, you see these things on YouTube, total bull crap. It's all lies. Nobody's neck makes those kind of noises. I've moved millions of bones, and that's not an exaggeration. I've never heard the noises you're hearing on Facebook. So those are dubbed over. So those are lies. But yeah, there are some times I would want MRI. Mm-hmm. But it's very rare.
That is all.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Tell your friends. Follow me on social media. You know that's your homework.